Hey everybody, Clay Archer, CEO, DBC Technology, and I've got a great one today. As you can see by the thumbnail, today we are installing the new Unifi 42U rack cabinet. So we're gonna do a complete unboxing and we're gonna build the rack up as you saw on the thumbnail. But first I'm gonna go over the specs and I'm gonna talk about the 800-pound gorilla in the room. First of all, this is a $1,399 rack. It comes fully assembled. It's a really impressive unit. Many have been comparing this to the budget racks that you can find on Amazon. But this is a different beast here, and obviously shipping this is very expensive. Because it comes fully assembled, shipping is $500, which is pretty typical of fully assembled nice racks that you buy for server closets. Not only is it $500 to ship, but it does come via freight, which means you have to have access to an 18-wheeler being able to get to your property. That may be an issue for many. I'll overlay some B-roll right now so you can see what this looks like, but it is very, very well shipped, and it comes on a pallet. The pallet and padding are also very well designed. There's quite a lot of packaging, so be prepared for that as well. So you're able to just unpack the packaging around the unit itself, put the ramp in front of it, raise the feet so that it can roll on the casters, and it will just roll right off the pallet and you're ready to go. It's really, really well done. Obviously, $500 for shipping seems like a lot, but when you see the final product, you're like, okay, that was probably money well spent. Obviously, this is a powder-coated white unit, so you really don't want it to have any dings or scratches on it. And the way they've sent this, there's very little chance that you're gonna have any damage or problems in shipping. So shipping out of the way, let's get into the unit itself. I'm gonna overlay right now the dimensions of the unit. Many people have asked me what the dimensions are. It is a standard rack size unit, but it is very large. This is probably overkill for a home lab, but in the enterprise and small business space, I think this is very appropriate. One last feature before I hand it off to Sean is there are 2 fans on the top of the unit, and you can run it in really one of 3 ways. So if you don't want the fans to run at all, obviously you just don't plug the fans in. You can plug it in and push the little button in. If you do that, the fans will always be on. Or you can plug it in and leave the button unpressed, and then the temperature sensor will turn on the fans when it either gets to 35 degrees Celsius or 95 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's a really cool feature, but I will tell you that the fans are server cabinet loud. So really quickly, I'll show you what that sounds like. One more last thing before I hand it over to Sean. This rack does use regular rack nuts and screws. We use rack studs in here. I will leave a link in the description down below. We use the rack stud duos, which I think are freaking amazing. But feel free to use whatever works for you. And with that, let's hand it over to Sean and let's get some stuff in this rack.
So welcome to my new Unifi 42U rack. Let's see what this thing comes with. So first, looking at this thing, it's got a really nice white exterior. You got the nice new Unifi logo. You got some tabs on the side here, so this pops right off. There's a little grounding cable at the bottom of this, so I can't pull it all the way off, but that's pretty nice. You have a locking handle, pops right out. Nice and easy. Also grounded to the cage. Keys come right inside here. The top of it has a slot so you can drop cabling down, and then the back has another slot that you can drop down in the back side. You have a nice glass front with ventilation on the sides, casters with wheel locks, and adjustable feet so you can level it and lock it in place. We're gonna go ahead and rotate this around and see what's on the other side. On this side, we have a nice big ventilated door with 2 fans on the top. This is also grounded to the chassis. Same door knob as the other side. And then on this side, we've got the same door as the other with the little notches on the sides here. Also grounded to the chassis. Now let's go ahead and jump inside and see what's inside. We're gonna go ahead and film the interior, so let's pop off the side of the door here. And I'll show you how that little ground disconnects. Just kind of set that down on one side. And this just pops right off. And you're good to go. All right, come on inside here. So inside the rack, you have your rack supports. These are adjustable with a couple screws. You can move them left and right to make this section wider. You can see your double fans up here. You got a power button, turn those on and off. You have a couple slots on the side here for your power distribution HD. That just slots right on the wall there, and you can plug everything in all the way up and down the rack. On the bottom of the rack, you got 10 slots here. These are all popped off with a couple of screws. You have some on the sides too, underneath the rear and front doors. And that's pretty much it. let's get some switches racked in this thing. Unifi sent us a bunch of little goodies, so the first one I want to take a look at here is the 1U rack shelf. This is a full-size rack shelf, so let's go ahead and get it opened up. Pretty good size. Got our little packet of screws. So the way this thing mounts into our rack is it slides right in between the rack rails and it secures to the sides. Next we have the 42U vertical cable manager. Let's go ahead and take a look. There we are. 2 cable managers in one pack. These will mount right on the inside of our rack here, right against the sleds. Just on the inside, the holes line up with the already cut holes in the rack. This allows us to zip tie to them for any extra cables that we have, all our power cables that run down the sides, whatever extra we've got. And when I say zip ties, I really mean Velcros. Okay, and one other goodie they sent us is this horizontal cable manager. So we can go ahead and open this up. Rack mounts right on the front here. Then your cable cover pops right on the front here. And that'll sit right in here. So we can cover up any cables that were out into the front and then patch down into whatever we need to, really. All right, so that about sums it up. That's everything in the rack. Please don't judge us, Reddit. We just threw a bunch of things in here, as much as we had all in our little lab, every single component that we could fit, so we could just mock this thing up nice and pretty for you guys, just so we can see what it looks like. It also kind of gives us a little bit of interpretation on how deep things are gonna go in this rack, so we can kind of decide how our cable management wants to go, how we're gonna get all our cabling dropping through it. So it kind of was a lot of fun to mess with, and it gave us a little bit of feedback on how this all gets together. Overall, I'm very impressed with the rack. It looks beautiful. The markings on it on the side are really pretty. The white is really great. The clear glass looks awesome. Shipping was easy as possible. It came very well wrapped and protected. Showed up on a pallet right in our front door. We just rolled it right off the front. It was ready to go. We're gonna really fill this rack out legitimately with everything that we're gonna need. It's gonna completely overhaul our network, so you guys better stick around for that one because I'm very excited for it. So if you guys have any comments or questions, please leave them down below and we'll be happy to answer anything we can. In the coming months, we're gonna have a bunch of enterprise gear being put into this rack, so I'm very excited for that. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.